When they think of Vikings, many people get an image of a barbaric people, taking to the sea and pillaging everything they could. The Norse people have a lot more depth than their conquering ways would depict. The Viking Age of the Scandinavian people lasted from 790 to 1100. During this period, Viking art evolved on its own and due to the influence of other cultures. There are 6 styles of Viking art. Usberg, which was from 775 to 875 and was mostly mainland Scandinavia. The Bora style, from 850 to 975, which was also mainland Scandinavia and spreading into the British Isles. Yelling, from 900 to 975, which started to go into Northern Europe as well. The Mammen, from 960 to 1025. The Ringerike, from 990 to 1050. And the Ernest, from 1050 to 1125. Contrary to the tales we hear of Viking conquerors, the native people of Scandinavia, often referred to as the Norse or Norsemen, were not all seafaring plunderers. Many of the mainland Norse were farmers, merchants, and craftsmen. Due to the importance of livestock and the relationship the Norse have had with nature, much of their early carvings are zoomorphic, depicting creatures large and small, real and mythical. The first style of Viking art is named after the Usberg find, a burial mound containing many artifacts, including a full longship, discovered on the Usberg farm in Norway. This style of art shares similarities with the art predating Viking art styles. Norsemen were craftsmen above all, so most art is ornamental decoration of fundamental objects. Decorative touches were added to almost any everyday object, from a beer mug to the entrance to a home or a community building. It may not have been art for art's sake, but the Norse definitely wove beauty into the things that they crafted. Norse were well known for their success at shipbuilding, creating light, fast ships that could hold multiple oarsmen, be moored quickly on a beach, and sent off again just as easily. Their prowess with woodworking led also to ornamental works carved from wood. A good example is here in Exhibit 1. These 4 animal head carvings were found in the tomb ship buried underground. The Usberg site has one of the most exquisite oak ships ever discovered. Unearthed in a burial mound, the ship has been painstakingly preserved since its discovery on the Usberg farm in Norway. These ornamental animal motifs were found inside the burial ship. While conquering and colonizing areas could be of detriment to the art styles that existed in the areas before the Vikings landed, in many instances they influenced the Norse styles of art. The Bora style of art incorporates decorative metalworking, with the Vikings taking inspiration from Celtic ornamental metal pieces. In Exhibit 2, we see an ornamental brooch, worn as a sign of wealth and prosperity among the Norse. This didn't reflect directly on spoils from plundered faraway lands, even if the materials may have come from overseas. While the Vikings did a fair share of pillaging, they had also established trade routes, and with their skills as merchants, made great strides in acquiring goods from land near and far. Exhibit 3 shows a pair of brooches worn by married women. As the Vikings improved in blacksmithing and metalworking, their intricately detailed brooches also evolved. The yelling style closely followed and overlapped the Bora style. What differentiates the two is the use of metalwork in yelling and additional carving of series of dots and more intricate markings on the pieces. These details can be seen here on Exhibit 4, the Yelling Cup, discovered in Jelling, Denmark. At this point, the spread of Viking influence was farther into Northern Europe and modern-day Russia. Yelling style also bled over to stone carving, dovetailing into the next art style we will be looking at. These carvings were used on grave markers or as large standing stones depicting stories of great conquest. Mammen style built upon Bora and Yelling styles while adding even more intricate details to works. This style is named after Exhibit 5, a ceremonial axe discovered near the village of Mammen in Denmark. Created likely as a ceremonial axe, an assumption we can make based on its silver inlays, the Mammen axe showcases everything that separates this style. The more intricate dot patterns, more spiraling lines, and additional details to the backgrounds and bordering lines show an increased attention to detail. Zoomorphic elements still tend to dominate the Viking art at this time, with more legendary beasts entering into the styles, such as dragons and flying beasts. Mammen styles also introduced more ornate trunks and caskets to the world of Viking art. Almost all pieces of art from the time were decorative clothing fasteners, jewelry, or ornate decoration on buildings, tools, and small portable items. Here in Exhibit 6, we see a copy of a famous casket, the common casket, named for the city in which it was displayed in the old country of Pomerania before World War II, when the casket went missing. Such caskets were often used to hold relics of importance when those relics were not hastily buried in an attempt to bank assets. Here in Exhibit 7, we see an unearthed Viking hoard with relics related to Christianity, a religion that began taking hold of the continent. The Ring Eureka style shortly followed the Mammon style, improving upon its use of line and dots. The background detail became yet again more pronounced, and the use of double contour lines really starts to set itself apart. There is a continuation of flying animal motifs added to the standard creatures of the forest. This style is most often discovered on weather vanes that have withstood the elements. Exhibit 7 is the Hagen weather vane, which came from the Hagen Church in Modum, Norway. Ring Eureka styles continued the tradition of stone carving just as Mammon before it, but with more intricate details. As Christianity takes hold, less burial objects are included in tombs, leaving most of what lingers in Ring Eureka style left to utilitarian objects. Ernest style is named after Exhibit 8, a picture of the Ernest Stave Church in Ornes, Norway. This style really brought together the craftsmanship and detail work that Viking culture had been perfecting this whole time, and this ornately carved church wall is a testament to their development. While Christianity was taking a hold of the continent and was well interspersed with the Norse culture, remnants of their pagan and Norse god roots still remained in the artwork details and in the runestones left behind. Exhibit 9 is a talisman dedicated to the Norse god Odin, while Exhibit 10 is an ornate cross likely used in worship in the Christian churches sweeping the Scandinavian landscapes. The Viking Age of art came to a close once Christianity had its hold on Scandinavia and Northern Europe, when the Romanesque style was introduced through the churches and started overtaking the Viking art, which was seen as primitive and pagan in nature.